Halloween Kills is finally here. So let's rank all 12 Halloween movies from worst to best. Let's get started. Welcome, movie watchers. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to be ranking all 12 of the Halloween movies from worst to best. Let me know in the comment section down below, how would you rank all 12 of them? What is your favorite and what is your least favorite film? Coming in last place is Halloween Resurrection. I hate how this movie came forth and how the events of H2O were kind of fake, and Laurie Strode had killed the wrong person, and Michael Myers is still out there. And then Laurie Strode was killed off in the beginning of the movie in the least satisfying way. And so from there on, the movie is not really worth watching because the whole series is about Laurie Strode and Jamie Lloyd and Michael's connection to his family. And taking that all away, there's not really much to watch anymore that I'm interested in. Plus, Busta Rhymes is in here, and he's not very good in the movie. There's just a lot going on in this movie that's not even really worth watching. And having this reality show, can you stay in Michael Myers' house for 24 hours, and having him come back, it's a lazy idea for a movie. And especially killing off Laurie Strode in the beginning, it just isn't worth revisiting. Now it's just Michael Myers going on a killing spree and having no connection to his family. There's really no point. Up next is Halloween 2. This is the sequel to Rob Zombie's Halloween, and going into this movie, I was really excited because I do enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween. This was the first Halloween movie I did see in theaters, and I left the theater so disappointed. This is an excusably bad film. This is a movie that has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. It still is dirty for no reason. The characters in here, from Sam Loomis to Laurie Strode, none of them are likable. They've really messed with their storylines, and they just aren't entertaining characters at all. There's this separate story going on with visions of a white horse and Michael trying to have this family reunion that just does not work in the movie. It still is a pretty violent film. It's seriously downgraded from the first Halloween movie that Rob Zombie did. There's not much I really like about this movie. Coming in at number 10 is Halloween 5. This film took what was a really solid ending to Halloween 4 with Jamie tapping into Michael Myers, having that connection between her and him. And then this movie just felt really bleak when it came to that, because they made Jamie mute in the film. She was dealing with that trauma from Michael Myers. And so the whole film just doesn't really offer much and expand on that really clever ending to the fourth film. Donald Pleasance, once again, is the highlight of the movie, and him as Sam Loomis is once again great, but they don't really do much with this film, and it overall just feels really bland and not enjoyable. And then we also have what is a setup for the sixth film with the Man in Black and him breaking Michael out of prison. It leaves you with more questions about the Thorn trilogy when it was setting up the fifth film and trying to expand on the events after the fourth film, but they just don't do much. Instead of answering the fourth film's questions, they start to add more to the film, and it's just so much going on that you're just kind of losing interest in everything that's happening. Coming at number 9 is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. While I do appreciate the approach to this movie and it being vastly different from the first two films and wanting them to do something different each year, it just didn't pan out the way that they wanted it to. It was poorly received at the box office, and it's got kind of mixed reviews. Over the years, it has gained a cult status, but I'm just not attached to this film as others are. I like Michael Myers as a character, and I want to see Michael Myers. We didn't get that in the film. And I do like the story in here of this mask company that wants to control everybody, and it's leading up to Halloween. I really like the story in here. But when it comes to the Halloween franchise, I'm looking forward to Michael Myers. And this could have just been a whole other movie separate from Halloween, just called Season of the Witch, and it would have been fine. But adding it to the Halloween franchise, it just does not work as the other films do. Coming in at number 8 is Halloween 6. Now, I have not seen the director's cut of The Curse of Michael Myers. I always want to, but I just don't see it. And so I'm going off of the theatrical cut of this film. And I like Paul Rudd in here. I think he's a pretty interesting character. And the story is expanding off of the events of the 5th movie with the Man in Black, and it just gets into so much things that honestly just feels a little unnecessary. I think the best thing that works for Michael Myers is just that unknown. Why is he killing people? He's just so mysterious. You don't know where he's going to pop up. What is he thinking? So adding in all of the things that the 6th movie did, while I do appreciate kind of shifting the story around, I just don't really care much about it. There's storylines that come in that aren't worth telling. They're giving us answers that I really don't care about. I don't really need to know about. And so just the whole movie and its lore with the Halloween franchise just really feels unnecessary, from watching the first film all the way to the 6th film and really expanding on the history of Michael Myers and why is he killing his family. I don't really need to know all of that stuff. And that makes the 6th film kind of frustrating to watch, because you like Michael Myers for him being very mysterious and the unknown and what is he thinking. I just want him to be evil just for him being evil. I don't need things building up and having an explanation. I don't need all of that. Coming at number 7 is Halloween Kills. This one is going to be a film, I think, for the long time is going to be, there's people who are going to love it, there's people who are going to hate it. There are scenes that just dragged on for so long. The bar scene, the opening sequence, wow, I thought it was really good. It just went on for way too long. The hospital sequence of them trying to find Michael Myers, it just goes on for way too long. And there's multiple times in here where I'm just checking out. I want to go do something else. I watched it at home and I found myself just kind of thinking of other things throughout the movie. This is by far the most violent Halloween film I have seen. So on that front, I think it really does work. It's really entertaining to watch Michael Myers do his thing. I love that. But everything else, I really could not care about, because it brings all of these citizens in from like the first film, having flashbacks to who they were in the first film, their character, and then us trying to really care about that. Well, I'm watching these characters being a bulk of the film, and I just don't find them interesting. Laurie Strode is sidelined for the film, and so there's not much I can really latch onto. While I do think that the mob part is something that's interesting to Haddonfield and the Halloween series, they just didn't go about it a way that seemed very compelling. Coming at number 6 is Halloween 4. The return of Michael Myers is something I welcomed. When I first watched the Halloween franchise, I was in high school. I watched the first film and then the second film, and I got to the third film, I was like, where's Michael Myers? And then I was excited to learn that there was the fourth film and bringing back Michael Myers. The absence of Laurie Strode is definitely felt in here, but Jamie Lloyd is a very interesting character, and so they're trying to, have Michael Myers still connected to his family. Without having Laurie Strode in here, you still see that he wants to hunt down his family members. Danielle Harris plays Jamie Lloyd, and she actually was in the Rob Zombie films as well. She's a really talented actress. Even when she was younger, she was really good as Jamie Lloyd. So I really like the character in the film, and the end is really haunting, and I like what they did with that, but everything else from the fifth movie and the sixth movie just wasn't very enjoyable. Donald Pleasance once again was great as Sam Loomis. There is some haunting moments throughout the film. I think it's shot very well. Having Michael Myers return is pretty good, and the explanation of why Laurie Strode is not in the film I thought was handled very well. So the fourth film, returning Michael Myers, I thought was a great comeback for the character. Things moving forward weren't the best for the character, but for this one, I thought it was very enjoyable. Coming in at number 5 is Halloween 2. This film is nowhere near as intense or haunting as the first Halloween film, but I still do enjoy the movie. I like its one central location within the hospital. And I always think hospitals at nighttime are very creepy, and they really utilize that. And so having Michael Myers, you know he's coming from point A to point B. You know that he's coming to the hospital. And so right there, that tension is very strong. It tries to copy certain things from the first film, but it's just nowhere as intense or as emotional or interesting to watch as the first one. But I do think that it is a very solid follow-up, continuing the events from the first film. I think the first few opening sequences of the movie are very strong, and it kind of just slows down once we have some of the characters that are introduced in the movie, some conversations that they're having. I think that it significantly slows down, but still a really good film. Coming in at number 4 is H2O. Halloween 20 years later was a pretty fun film. It feels very at its time, like in the 90s. This film got rid of all the things that happened with the Thorn trilogy, and we have Laurie Strode still alive. The movie was released in 1998, and it just feels like it comes from the 90s. It feels like those typical 90s slasher films, and I enjoyed that for the way that it looks. Laurie lives in California, and she works as a headmistress at a private school. But Michael escapes and soon finds her whereabouts. It got rid of all the bad things from the Thorn trilogy. I think it's a good continuation from the original Halloween movie, just having it be Michael wanting to kill his family members. And so I think it's a lot of fun with that. I think the performances in here are very campy, and it feels like it's piggybacking off of movies like Scream. But Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams in here, they're all really good. It's a lot of fun. The killing is really entertaining. Michael Myers is still menacing, and Laurie Strode, you really got back into the character very well, and she was traumatized from the events of the first film and was preparing herself, and we see that in the 2018 Halloween movie as well. But this movie is a lot of fun. It's got some campy kills, and Michael Myers is entertaining. The characters feel like a product of the 90s, and so with all of that, and me enjoying 90s slasher films and 90s horror films, there's a lot to appreciate about how this movie was brought forth, the cinematography, the score, the way that it looks. It's just all around a really entertaining film. Not the best Halloween movie I've ever seen, and it's kind of shallow when it comes to a little bit of the story, but still, as an entertaining film, I think it was pretty fun. Coming at number 3 is Halloween. This is the Rob Zombie film, and I bet this is where I lose a lot of people. This was the first Halloween movie I saw. Even before seeing the original Halloween film, I got this on DVD for Christmas one year, and just really loved watching it. I watched it over and over and over again. And I understand why people would put this at the bottom. I really, really do. I'm not going to argue, say this is like the best Halloween movie ever. And I'm not going to disagree with you when you say that it's bad, because I do think it's bad. But I do think for me watching it so much, there's a lot for me to appreciate about the film. Yes, it takes its time in the beginning, setting up Michael as a young child, which I think was a little bit unnecessary. How disgusting this movie is. Everybody's cursing at each other, talking about sex. All these characters are just unlikable in a very certain way. And so a lot of the film does feel unnecessary when it comes to the sex and the curse words and how disgusting this movie is. But I do like some of the moments when he was younger, how he was affected by his mom's boyfriend, and how everybody was just kind of mean to him, and everything was just building up within him to go and kill his family. And so part of that I think works really well. And then we have Sam Loomis, and we have Sam Loomis trying to understand him as a child. I think some of those moments are very key to the movie, and I've always wanted to witness Sam and Michael as a kid and them talking to each other. And I wish we would have saw that in the original film, and we got that in this movie. Like most parts in the first 40-50 minutes of the movie, it goes on for a little bit too long and a little bit unnecessary. But once we get into Michael and as an adult, and once we get out of the hospital, I think the film has that good Halloween vibe. We can tell that Rob Zombie does have a care for the franchise. When Michael does get to Haddonfield, the kills are brutal. It's very intense. So by the end of the movie, I really do enjoy it. I like what Rob Zombie is bringing to the table while trying to pay homage to the original Halloween franchise. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that do not work in the beginning, and a lot of things that just feel very unnecessary when it comes to the sex jokes, the rape sequences that really don't need to be there at all. They add nothing to the character and nothing to the movie. But as a whole, it's a movie that I enjoy watching, and I will say that's one of my favorite Halloween movies. You can say it's one of your least favorite, and I will agree with you, but I do like this movie a lot. Coming in at number 2 is Halloween. This is the 2018 film. I thought was a great comeback for the character. This got rid of H2O, Resurrection, the Thorn trilogy, Halloween 2. This was a follow-up to the very first film. And with that, I thought the story worked because Laurie Strode was trying to prepare herself for the eventual return of Michael Myers. It was a very bloody film. Having her daughter and her granddaughter in the film added something that she was trying to protect. And a lot of people thought she was crazy, but she was aware that, Michael Myers may return one day. And she had something that she was trying to protect. And does provide that sense of urgency in the film. And Michael Myers does not hold back in this film at all. He's willing to kill whoever, at whatever age, and it's very bloody. I like how it tries to feel like the original movie with its tension and how Michael is and Haddonfield as well. There's a lot to appreciate about this movie. But coming in at number 1 is the first Halloween. I don't think there ever will be a Halloween film that will top this movie. It's tense. The camera work is the best in this series. Watching the camera move as if it's Michael Myers, the score that goes along with it adds that mysterious tone and that haunting sound to Michael Myers. You just associate that sound with Michael Myers, and it works so well. It's got a good pace for it, not lingering on with certain scenes throughout the movie, getting quickly to the next scene, and a really epic end to the movie. The confrontation between Michael and Laurie, it's definitely there, and it's building throughout the movie, and it gives Laurie a chance to become such a strong character within the movie as she's fighting against Michael Myers and protecting the young kids that she is watching. It's by far one of my favorite horror films and the best Halloween movie in the franchise. I am excited to watch Halloween Ends and see if it does end on a epic note, but we'll have to wait till next year. So there you guys have it, all 12 Halloween movies ranked worst to best. How would you rank all 12 films? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming ranking videos. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.